is Kadarwati. I am from class B2 and my student number is K2219079, and now I'll be doing the report for COVID-19 versus SARS viruses. The coronavirus is still worrying people around the world. This virus first appeared in Wuhan, China in December 2019. COVID-19 has infected more than 192 countries. In Indonesia, there have been like 25,000 people who are infected with this virus. Before the emergence of COVID-19, there were already other diseases that were also caused by the coronavirus, namely SARS. Have you heard of it? Even though they belong to the same group of viruses, but they have some significant differences. The first differences is the symptoms that appear. One of the subtle differences between COVID-19 and SARS, which is quite noticeable, is the symptoms that appear. Even though they both attack the respiratory system, according to CDC, the common symptoms experienced by the positive patients of COVID-19 are quite similar to the other disease, such as fever more than 38 degrees Celsius, dry cough, and shortness of breath. Meanwhile, the patients suffering from SARS experience more variable symptoms, such as fever, cough, the body feels weak and painful, headache, shortness of breath, and diarrhea. At a glance, it does look the same, but in some cases there are patients who are positive of COVID-19 without showing any symptoms. Still, patients like this still can transmit the virus to others. So, COVID-19 and SARS can be distinguished through symptoms that do look similar, but they are actually different. The second is the severity level. Besides the symptoms, another notable difference between the COVID-19 and SARS is the severity. The COVID-19 case rate is indeed much higher than SARS. However, it is estimated that there are 20% of COVID-19 patients who need to be hospitalized, and some of them need breathing apparatus, such as ventilator. This is because most patients have complaints of serious illness due to viral infections, such as pneumonia. Meanwhile, SARS causes conditions that are more severe in general than COVID-19. Estimated that there are 20–30% of SARS patients who need a ventilator during treatment. Even so, estimated of COVID-19 mortality rates will vary considering the number is still growing, starting from the condition of the infected country to the characteristics of the population. Until now, the percentage of COVID-19 deaths is estimated to be between 0.25 to 4%. However, the number of patients who recover is far more than patients who die. So it can be said that the death rate is lower than SARS. This is because SARS is said to be more deadly than the COVID-19, with a mortality rate of around 10% of the total number of cases. In addition, the effect of COVID-19 in certain groups turned out to be different compared to SARS. Next is the transmission. One thing that makes SARS and COVID-19 quite different is the level of transmission. Unlike SARS, COVID-19 has a fairly high number of cases because it is easier to infect from one person to another. This may be due to the number of COVID-19 patient viruses as they occur and need to be long after they appear. This transmission is quite different from SARS. In the case of SARS, the amount of the virus will continue to multiply when the virus has settled in the body for several days. Therefore, the transmission of COVID-19 is much easier because the initial symptoms have just occurred. The virus can spread to others early before the patient's condition worsen. Even like that I have mentioned before, that COVID-19 positive patients can transmit the virus before it appears. Such cases are not found in SARS, so transmission of COVID-19 is much faster. The fourth is the genome. Recently, there's a study published in the journal The Lancet which revealed the complete genetic or the genome of the SARS coronavirus. This virus is a designation of the viruses that causes COVID-19. In this study, it was seen that this virus was strongly associated with coronaviruses in bats rather than the viruses that caused SARS. This proves that COVID-19 has genetic similarity with the SARS virus by 79%. One thing that you need to remember is when the virus enters the cell, they need to interact with proteins on the cell surface, aka the receptors. Then the virus will spread through proteins on the surface. When the virus is analyzed with the other coronaviruses, the results are quite interesting. Namely, SARS coronavirus is more similar to the coronavirus found in bats. The next is the binding process of the virus. Actually, until the moment the experts are still in the process of research to see how the binding process of COVID-19 and the difference with SARS. The results were quite varied because this research was done with protein, not in the virus as a whole. Both viruses also use viral proteins that are used to enter host cells and bind to receptors with the same attachment. However, the other studies have tried to compare areas of the responsible viral proteins to bind to host cells receptors. The researchers see that the binding of SARS coronavirus binds to host cells receptors with a higher affinity than SARS. The point is the COVID-19 has a higher affinity for its host cell receptor. This may explain why COVID-19 spreads more easily than SARS. The point number 6 is the treatment. Until now, there is no drug that specifically can cure the COVID-19 and SARS. The team of doctors has made every effort to combine several antiviral drugs with other drugs so that the patient is healthier and the body is able to fight off the virus, starting from ritonavir until chloroquine is used to relieve patient symptoms. Meanwhile, SARS patients have proven to be effective in treating lopinavir, ritonavir, and the latest broad-spectrum antiviral drug called remdesivir. Even more, in COVID-19 patients who need a ventilator, the drugs given are different. Besides antiviral medications, patients with this condition also need infusion, oxygen, and other medicines that are appropriate to their symptoms. Therefore, COVID-19 patients need to be hospitalized or quarantine themselves so that the condition can be monitored and doesn't make it easy for the virus to infect others. COVID-19 and SARS do have more in common. However, it is important to know what differences are owned, that it appears, and what disease is actually experienced. Don't forget to make efforts to prevent transmission of COVID-19 by maintaining a healthy body and cleanliness and keeping a distance from others. And that is the report for the COVID-19 versus SARS viruses.